Hello everyone, welcome once again to another commentary video. This time we are going to cover the third round of the Smacky Cup. It's going slowly, the series, but it's getting there. This time Rizzo, Rhizomatic, Popular Model Rims, a very recurrent guest of this channel, has come back once again, and not only in the replayer but also as a guest. Hello, welcome.
Hey, Sonic. Yeah, it's good to be back. It's been forever since we've done a replay commentary together, and I've climbed a lot since then. And it's just great to be back on board and looking at this map. It's a really cool one, and I think that this is a fun game. So let's jump right into it.
The match was like 2 to 3 months ago, quite a little bit back then, but you will remember most of the important details. Let's talk first about your opponent, which is Savage Beach. He's quite a fairly new player, but he's no joke, at least. Like, he's already almost 1400s, but at the moment where the tournament started, he was 1100. So he has improved a lot through the tournament, quite impressive.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the tournament bracket, it is like over 100 positions lower than me. But if the tournament were to start today, I think that he would be rated much higher, at probably like at least 50 seed. He's climbed to like the mid 1300s really quickly, and he seems to show no signs of stopping. So definitely a player to keep an eye on, I think.
And the matchup is quite one of the favorites of tier 3, at least for me, because it's one of the best matchups, ironically, for Andy, which is himself, Andy versus Andy. What do you think about the matchup?
I think it can be really janky to play sometimes because of the fact that Andy doesn't really have a reliable damage boost, and as a result, he's going to struggle finishing off his units. And that's normally what Andy wants from his opponent. He wants to play against somebody who struggles to kill his units. So in Andy versus Andy, you're going to see turns where one player seems to get a huge advantage by taking a ton of alpha strikes and reducing Andy's units down to really low health. But because of that massive 5 HP heal, the other Andy is going to just pop power at the beginning of his next turn and potentially do a really major swing. But it's actually worth considering, I think, as Andy, using your hyper upgrade first, just for the move and the attack increase, so you can actually kill the other Andy's units in the mirror matchup.
Yeah, totally. Like, if you manage to get some hit KOs and get into the tank superiority, then your opponent won't be able to break through against the extra defense with less units. So I think it's one of those cases in the Ditos where you want to pop first the power, as well as Sasha, Eagle, etc. Anyways, let's not talk about other COs. Let's talk about the map. What do you think about the map?
Yep.
3 bases, 1 airport, 2 comp towers.
Yeah, this is a classic WYJ style map. It's Stalingrad all over again. But unlike on Stalingrad, where your comp tower is your weak side, in this case, it's your strong side. Where on Stalingrad, you want to move horizontally, left to right and right to left. On this map, you want to move north from the south or south from the north, depending on what side you're on. And the reason for that is just like the way that the properties are laid out. All your infantry are going to be moving vertically, and that makes it your strong side. And that's just because of the way that the city chains are laid out. Yeah, if you're ever looking at a new map and you're not sure which side is your strong side, just open up Move Planner and play out the capture phase and see where all your infantry end up at the end of capture phase when they've finished capturing all the properties on your side. And wherever you have more infantry is your strong side, pretty much. Because unit count is king. Wherever you have more units who can fight together and block for each other, that's where you want to be. That's where you want to push.
And what do you think about the center on this map? Do you think it's important controlling the lap, or is quite very? It looks like very exposed position to and very overextended.
Yeah, I like the center on this map because, on the one hand, it's nice to position around there and swing back and forth from side to side. But on the other hand, there's so many properties in the corners that you're kind of incentivized away from the center. So it serves as a good way to, like, controlling the center is a good way to close out your lead when you're already ahead. But if you try to play around the center initially, you're going to take some losses in the corners and probably start to fall behind to more corner-oriented play.
Okay, let's see who takes the control of the center and who takes or tries to take the control of the corners. Let's see. Let's jump into the replay commentary, guys. So, okay, the capture phase. You were talking about the capture phase. What do you think are the thought process for newer players whenever they are trying to figure out a capture phase? Why, for example, you are going for the airport instead of this property, which is immediately next to the base, which is basically more income? Do you want to rush?
So, yeah, it's less income up front, but taking the airport first lets me get out a very early T-copter, which is going to cause my income to, be better in the long term, my unit count to be better in the long term, because there are a lot of boosts moving vertically. And I want to make sure that I have a transport unit that allows me to secure those even faster, because without it, it's much less efficient.
I do recall playing this map and doing a lot of boosties with my T-copter. Like, it was insanely doing a lot of boosts. Especially around this area. I was top right player, and it was insane the amount of boosties, and not boosties like for the sake of boosties, but boosties that make the difference between one turn later or earlier for properties. It was very, very good.
Yeah, and also transport opening is good on this map because it takes a while for fighting to start. If your opponent opens day 3 recon, it's going to arrive way too early to the contested props, and it's going to have to push deep into your opponent's side of the map, where you might be able to delay a cap briefly, but it's not going to be like a property that you're going to deny all game because of how deep it is into their half of the map. So T-copter is good as an opening here. Artillery is also good as an opening here. Normally, you want to be a little bit cautious about opening artillery because of how fast tanks and recons can hit on this map, or on some maps, I should say. But because tanks and recons arrive more slowly here, you can kind of afford to get out an early artillery. So that's fine too. I think that T-copter is better though, because just all the boosties which are available, and the fact that you can still get out an artillery a little later.
I have 2 questions. The artillery plan on this map, what it is and why? And also about your capture phase, explain to, especially for players who are wondering why you didn't capture this city instead of this. I think I know the answer, but I want to hear from you.
Yeah, see the green city where my T-copter just landed? Yeah, that allows me to boost an infantry from the base and lines it up to take the gray city that's closer to it. So it's more efficient. I'm using my infantry's full movement by skipping it and leaving it for boosted infantry.
Yeah, this one is going for this one, and this one will get the how you call it, the chain, and these 2 will get these 2 that this would have gotten. So you would be redundant with the capture phase.
Exactly. Yep.
And that's not the case for Andy, which will be behind on the income, but he's going double recon day 7, And this artillery, I don't quite understand why so early. Like, was he expecting you to have a recon to deny the com tower or something? Like, what is this defending apart from maybe this property denial?
Yeah, it arrived way too early, which is why I still give the edge to T-Copter. You just don't need an artillery that early, but you need a T-Copter early. I guess he's worried about the tower deny, but I'm not sure he's reading the map right. Like I mentioned earlier, it develops vertically. Like my strong side is the side where I have my tower, and pushing into his tower is, especially this early on, is going to be awkward for me.
Maybe he was expecting you to have a recon here, but at the end of the day, if you have a recon here, shooting at it would be not like you would not kill it, so it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
You don't care about hitting a recon if you don't kill it. Maybe you protect your infantry from harassment, but at the end of the day, the recons are for the Vision. And you're Andy, so that recon will be healthy later on to do some job. And now they ate a T-copter. I think that's, I mean, no, it's not terrible, but I think it's, if you are planning to wield a T-copter, you want to wield it as early as possible.
Yeah, you want the ideal case for building a transport is, I mean, it continues to be useful all game because it helps you replenish infantry on the front lines. So building a T-copter when you can get away with it at any stage of the game is good, but ideally you want to use it during capture phase. And unfortunately, he's building it too late to fully utilize it for capturing.
Will you use mechs? Because if you have the justification to wield a T-copter for the capture phase. Was expecting. I didn't watch the replay. I want to insist, but I knew the moment you put these two spaces away from the base, weak side, like come on, like that's crystal clear for me that you are going for a mech.
Mm. Yeah, and despite all I said about playing vertically, I actually decided to play horizontally at first here, and T-copter enables that because if you look at the map, you can see that like two bases are within 3 turns away from Orange's comm tower, which is equal distant for him. So like I can play around that side if I address the unit count shortage. And by boosting infantry and mechs in that direction, I can kind of play it as though it were my strong side. It just requires that little bit of finagling. And also, like, it allows me to link up units from my third base by assigning my T-copter to the one furthest to the left.
You taught me this once when I was playing Ashasha Mirror in that map of a very big island with the middle...
Crossfire.
Yeah, yep. That map. You told me you can use your T-copter to convert your strong side in your stronger side, like 2.5 bases against 2.5 against 1. So you will end up winning with your mechs from the T-copter transporting.
So, yeah, with T-copter picking up mechs, they're every second turn or every third turn. You can think of it as a half factory or a third factory, I guess. 1/3.
Yeah, and that's basically a stronger side. Basically, is I think I really like that idea. I sadly couldn't make it work as much as I wanted on my game there against Quacker Duck was, but I think I really like it. Is what I have to say, because I thought it was very smart. Anyways, the artillery has been sitting there for 3 whole days, if I remember correctly, and now it's gonna start to have some job to do the very next turn. I hope Savage the Beast doesn't move it now, because if the artillery tries to go somewhere else now, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, and at this point he still doesn't have vision on where I am, so he might move it forward.
I mean, this is a very good moment for him to try to start the capture and put the recon on this city, for example. And he will have backup if you try to kill that recon. That would be very, very how you call it, ballsy for you to do.
And if you look at the north, he moves a recon into the forest, and I'm just off range by 1 tile, which is unfortunate for him. But he does see me in the south, at least if I'm going for a couple captures, but my vehicles are still hidden, which is nice. Yeah. But yeah, what you're saying about sticking a recon on a property, that's super annoying to deal with because you need to commit 2 vehicles to kill it. And then you need a 3rd unit to sit on the city so your opponent can't counterattack you from terrain. Yeah. It just requires a huge investment to deal with a unit which only costs 4k.
Recons on properties are very scary to attack into in early game. Like you are wasting like how much 4 times the value of the recon in order to neutralize it. Is insane. Like you have to waste 2 tanks and an extra unit that's existing 15k of value, almost 4 times. Like really
yeah. And also if you're the one putting the recon on the property, you can move it forward pretty safely and maybe block an infantry which tries to go for the cap. And when you see like 3 tanks show up, you can just leave. And yeah, your recon probably doesn't even take any damage in that scenario, and you can continue using it.
And notice how Raizo wheels another mech, and that doesn't need to wait for the T-copter going back. Just to place it 2 spaces apart from the mech, so this mech will arrive almost at the same time as this mech. So it's very important that you make the most use of your T-copter, because it's gonna make the difference here, I really believe. Although this tank is barely in range to defend the denial of the com tower, which is very important to deny the com tower as Andy against Andy, because that will make your unit survive.
Yes, absolutely. And also, like, it makes the com tower a very attractive objective to go for yourself in the mirror, trying to get 2 towers against Andy.
That's basically guaranteed to hit Chaos cities. That's some rolls, that's overall more damage. It's basically more damage, the more likely you are to kill units against Andy.
And yeah, you can see that Savage is going for a different kind of line of development than me, where he's trying to spread out his forces pretty equally, where especially in the coming turn or 2, you can see me compact my formation to more of a death ball.
And here he built the medium tank. You were warning me of looking for these units because they are going to be very interesting on this matchup. What do you have to say of medium tanks, and especially medium tanks of Andy?
Yeah, medium tanks in Fog are generally pretty bad because of a 5 movement and the fact that they often are like behind bases which are gated by forest tiles. Like this medium tank, but once you go to the com tower, has to pass through 2 forest tiles, and on 5 movement, that's going to take forever. So generally, I don't recommend medium tanks as any CO, even if you're like Max or Jess or Adder. Like you can say like, oh, they get +2 movement or whatever that compensates for medium tanks' bad movement. But no, when you have a movement boost, you want to use it on units which are already fast, so you get more value out of it, which is why I go for a Neo tank.
What's better than a medium tank? A Neo tank.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually going to arrive really fast, if not maybe even before the medium tank or at the same time because of that extra movement.
And the good thing is that Andy is not a firepower CO. Yes, it's gonna be very good, the medium tank, because it's hard to kill it. But the Neo tank, since you are not a firepower CO, you will have those thresholds of one hit KOs much more easily, and that means one less unit, and that's a big difference if you're playing against Andy. Well, and in general, it's very important.
Yeah, so Andy's medium tank only gets one hit KO really without any firepower boost, and that's on anti-air with 1 tower. And that's actually pretty relevant because like Andy having a unit which can hunt down his opponent's anti-air while he's building B-copters is really good because that allows him to force B-copter on B-copter engagements, which generate a lot of charge, and B-copters don't one-hit KO each other. So like if you take out all your opponent's AA with a medium tank, that's really good for you. And also another big weakness of medium tanks is the fact that they're kind of flimsy. Like they're hard to kill, but they're easy to damage. And as soon as you get them down to like 7 HP or whatever, that's like equivalent to half firepower or something. So like you can't even one hit KO a tank on full HP. Imagine how bad that is when you're at half. But Andy can heal his medium tanks all the way up to full. And then with his hyper upgrade, he gets 10% attack plus 10/10 stats from just using power like everybody does.
13 total.
So that's just barely enough for a full HP medium tank to one hit KO a tank. So that's really relevant. So like for Andy, this dream scenario is like bring your medium tank into battle, one hit KO your opponent's AA, attack with B-copters. Your opponent chips your medium tank with B-copters or a medium tank of their own. Then you get power, then you pop hyper upgrade, and you one hit KO a regular tank. So pretty good actually.
And that's almost the medium tank paid out for himself. 15 value and 2 units. That medium tank, if it now dies, which would be very hard to happen, it's not a net loss. It's actually arguably a win. But I want to talk about this turn of Savage, because it's quite savage the build he has done. A second medium tank and another T-copter. I think I understand the T-copter, but another second medium tank is not gonna harm a lot his vehicle count.
Yeah, I would rather see him go for a Neo tank and 2 infantry than a medium tank, 2 infantry, and a T-copter.
And also,
it's pretty much the same value.
He has not built any copters on this map. You have not neither. Well, maybe you do at the end of this turn. You are second player after all. But what do you think about
when your airport is all the way in the corner like that? It's really weak, honestly. It takes forever for B-copters to move up to the front.
Yeah,
and here I don't really like what I'm doing in the upper left-hand corner where I'm interrupting some cats. I'm kind of like I see now that he has like a lot of stuff on his comm tower, and that's kind of how I expected it from reading the map. But like, I feel like moving those infantry forward without a vehicle support is not great.
Yeah.
So ideally, I would just keep on massing up my units down in the south instead of also going for those attacks in the north.
Oh, this recon got trapped. That's why it didn't move.
Yeah, I think that I was trying to go for my first strike before I moved my infantry to attack from the road tile to the right of that property. So, but at that time I didn't see that there was an infantry there. So it was before I moved my first infantry in to attack.
Honestly, I don't want to sound like, how you say it, not arrogant, but when you think you are much better or something. I always advise to take the moves in fog that give vision and then think about them. and you risk knowing if there was something here, which I guess it's not very likely, but you took the risk and you paid.
Yeah, and that is a little bit costly because it's going to make me lose my recon in the north, and I can't really put an infantry on the mountain on the following turn. It's going to take a couple of turns before I can restore vision that way.
But let's see, because Savage has 2 T-copters, and that hints me that he's planning to wheel mechs, because if you want to wheel so many two transports, you want to use them in some way more than use infantry. And right now,
yeah, as you can see, his artillery, which he put in there forever ago, finally gets some value by damaging and destroying the infantry that was going for a cat there. But he's also surging forward very aggressively, which is something that I'm kind of expecting because of this map being biased towards playing vertically. But I have a huge clapback here. He takes down my artillery, which is annoying, but he's also running into 2 mechs, 4 tanks.
Yeah, 2 mechs with 2 clean shots at a recon, at a tank, at an anti-air, whatever you want. And very ballsy by him, using the anti-air to one-shot the infantry in order to get the kill on the artillery. Like, wow.
Yeah, at this point I'm really happy because I feel like my trap is playing out nicely. He didn't expect me to go hard horizontally, and now he's attacking into me, and my mechs are going to get huge value.
And on the very next turn, after your counter attack, you will have your Neo tank to support you. So this is going to be very nice, because the medium tank won't be able to support the units the next turn.
Yeah, I think anti-medium tanks are good, but ideally you want to use them defensively when you're fighting closer to your own base to kind of make up for the fact that they're slow.
Look at this. Oh, this is sexy. I mean, this recon had like cheap damage, I think so, right?
Yeah, I think that recon or mechs can one-hit KO recons on full HP without a chip on roads, but it's unlikely.
Yes, it's unlikely.
The fact that it took chip damage, or actually I don't even think it took chip damage because it attacked an artillery, didn't it? So that was a lucky roll.
It was a lucky roll, yeah. I mean, mechs do the same damage as, tanks, most of the time.
Yes.
So, yeah, 85 plus 10%, that's 92, sorry. That's a very lucky roll.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm feeling like a king. I get to use my T-copter to boost my damage infantry onto the HQ for heals.
Okay, and here, this engagement can seem quite a bit strange, but
yeah, it's still like a net positive because like I'm 7 HP, he's 6 HP, but I can't finish it off. And this is going to start getting concerning, my inability to finish off some of his units.
But I think it's net positive as well, but I think it's a bit ballsy by you to do it. Like, as Andy, against Andy especially, I don't want to attack if I don't kill, because I'm weakening my own units while also not killing the enemy.
Right, yeah. And like I said, that's going to be a problem moving forward. But overall, this turn is really good because like now he just has half a tank and an artillery which can't shoot anything. Yeah. He's got a medium tank further back, but it's not within range of anything.
If you look at the value, you basically turned the tables completely. You made them lose 25,000 of value, and you do the purchases. So you are basically completely ahead after this turn. Maybe Savage can take some kills, but I think at least on value and in position also, but that's very easy to tell in retrospect. You are slightly winning by now. Because this artillery has to retreat, this medium tank has nothing to do, the Neo tank is just in time to support.
Yeah, and this is like a good turn, and I'm right to be happy about it, but I also get a little bit overconfident here. I think I'm winning it a little bit more than I actually am, and I try to, push deep into my opponent's strong side, because like I said, Comm Tower side is the strong side. But also, it's an Andy Comm Tower, and I really want to get 2 Comm Towers against Andy.
Yeah.
So all that, it makes me a little bit overconfident here, I think. He actually sneaks forward that medium tank into a forest tile, which is nice. I don't have any vision anymore because I believe he killed my recon there.
I think
so.
The recon here looks very strong if you have already vehicles to support it, because it will give you vision of any unit going inside this forest, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, it will give you vision of anything entering the mid area. So, and it's very strong, as we mentioned early, because you have to use 3 units to make that recon neutralized. So
yeah, and I believe he's also he has a B-copter out now. So like that medium tank B-copter combo as Andy is really nice, I think.
Look at that artillery.
Yeah, he doesn't pull his artillery back, which surprised me a little bit. And so like I'm thinking like I can't see the medium tanks, and I just know the only thing I know that he has vehicle wise besides the artillery is a damaged tank. So I'm like, well, I'm going to keep the gas on. I am going in.
Yeet. Oh my god. Right into the front lane, the artillery. The anti-air. Is this use also, how you call it, switching the names of artillery and anti-air? Like, I think it's not only him, it's also me who sweet. Oh my god.
It's infectious.
It's infectious. Oh my god. And you killed the tank. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a lucky roll.
And you.
But what can I say? I'm feeling good.
And also, if you are playing against Andy and you can damage a unit, as long as it's below 5 HP, if it's free, I think it's worth doing always, because it's not like it's useless, And that artillery, after all, has to run away. I think it's completely justified to do this engagement with your tank.
Mm-hmm. But so I'm still feeling good, but at this point I'm walking into Savage the Beast, and well do I know 2 medium tanks, and he has power up before me because he took some bad engagements.
Yep.
So
it's like Olaf against Olaf. The powers will make the one winning not as winning. But
it's a rubber band mechanic is what they call it. It's like a blue shell in Mario Kart.
Yeah, you're about to get blue shell, man.
Yep.
Although it's only 3 vehicles and the anti-air around the area. I don't know if he wants to pop the super this turn.
I believe he moved that recon to get vision on my Neo tank, which is in range of the artillery. But, actually, he pulls back his artillery. I would have healed it up and taken a shot at that Neo tank, even if it meant that I was going to lose the artillery. But that's just me.
Okay, so he retreats. He covers the medium tank with the artillery, which is 9 HP artillery. Very smart. Yeah, I think he is sensing that you might be overextending, and he doesn't need to.
He's baiting me, I think, because he's not showing his full hand.
And also, he doesn't need
to. Like, oh, that's all he has? Just 1 medium tank? He thinks 1 medium tank is going to save him?
He's like he's also doesn't need to to rush because you didn't start a capture of the comp tower. So he has one turn to accumulate reinforcements and then push you away.
Right. Yeah. One thing that I don't really like though is that he still has tank, recon, and artillery in the north. I would start moving those back at this point.
Yeah, that's arguably bad, but you do also.
I have. I basically am matching him besides the artillery.
Did you calculate for this?
Point, I go. Yeah, I go for this medium tank kill, and it's a roll.
Oh my!
I actually use that for the firepower and don't get the kill. So yeah, that's not good.
Oh my god! I will try to remember.
I'm going really hard here.
This moment and put the calculations around here. If I don't, please blame me on the comments screaming or whatever. But I will try to remember.
It was possible. I promise it was possible. I just don't get it.
Or I want to say something, but copium.
No, you're right to call me out for this as like a bad attack. But like, yeah, the medium tank at least isn't going to be at full HP. It's just going to be, since it's on a property, it's going to be at 8 HP.
8 HP.
So that's still,
only 8 HP. Like,
at least it's not enough to one-hit KO my tanks on planes, like I was talking about earlier.
Lately, I'm using the copium meme a lot with my friends, and I'm trying to stop myself from saying copium 1,000 times after what you have said.
At this point, like, I already am sweating knowing that like I failed to kill the medium tank.
Yeah, because also
and like I still don't see that he has a neo tank that's going to attack and an extra medium.
Imagine a bomber coming. Imagine if there was a bomber. It's not the case, but oof, it could be.
Yep. And at this point, we can see what he was planning with the double T-copter. He's planning to like make his middle base into a heavy vehicle factory and just pumping out infantry from both the side bases and using the T-copters to boost them.
You will the bomber the moment I meme about it. I didn't notice it.
Yeah, I actually base skipped for a bomber because I'm like, okay, I need something which can kill like medium tanks and probably other heavy tanks. I get the sense. I don't know that he's doing like the double T-copter heavy tank setup, but I get the sense that I'm going to be facing a lot of heavy tanks.
I like how he took some engagements before using the hyper upgrade, because those were not relevant for the kills, and now these units are completely full HP.
Yeah, I like using or doing infantry attacks before using hyper upgrade and then doing vehicle attacks after.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the delayed hyper upgrade too.
Choo-choo. Boom.
Yep.
Well.
So, yep. I'm really worried at this point. But
I'm gonna ask.
I don't
something.
think.
Here wouldn't have been the play to try to wall the infantry and don't use your superpower and make so it, if they don't drop it below 5 HP, you have guaranteed the comp tower.
Yeah, Andy is quite good at that, definitely. But I gamble on the roll. And I'm really a massive hypocrite for going for that role, because recently I gave another high elo player a hard time for going for those kind of roles in an Andy mirror, and here I am doing it. It's just a bad idea to do those kind of gambles against Andy. Doesn't matter what CO you're playing.
Can we see the name?
Oh, it was Rip.
Okay.
Rip underscore? Yeah.
Yes, I know Rip. Yes, I talk with him a lot. Okay, Rip, if you are watching this, we love you, but Rizzo is...
Yeah, I'm sorry, Rip. This game proves me wrong, or at least it proves that I'm a hypocrite.
Okay, if you watch this, Rip, you can shame on Rizzo forever now in the general chat or global league. Any time of
whoa.
No,
That's a little harsh.
I
forever.
mean forever until Rip fucks up again, I guess.
Okay. That's a little better.
Here, you took it first with the tank rather than the mech. I guess the mech will take more damage back, but isn't the tank more valuable in the sense that now this medium tank can one-shot it?
Yeah, I think that would have been better to do the mech attack first.
Although if you
I guess I was gambling on not taking like 1 HP worth of counter damage, but I did. And given the fact that I did, it's like at that point, like the mech probably would have even like maybe even taken less counter damage in the worst case scenario in terms of value. And this medium tank just refuses to die.
Yeah, and I'm quite surprised at that Recon not dying.
Yeah. It's because he's got a super active. It's the equivalent of putting it on a property. And that, like, without power, it's a roll, I think, for a Neo tank to one-hit KO a Recon on a property.
Also, this is the day-to-day of Andy showing up. Like, normally with any CO, you could never finish this Recon with a copter. But you are Andy, and you see an anti-air at 5 HP here. You don't care, because it will drop you to 3 HP, maybe 4-2. And you will heal that up, and you will kill that anti-air, which is effectively full HP, because it's also against Andy. So this is completely justified and very important to do. What are you gonna do about the T-copter fuel problem?
I actually put it back on the airport to refuel it. Yeah, that's the only real downside of going T-copter over APC, really, is the fact that them crashing is a real problem, and you need to either build an APC to save it or let it take some damage and then combine it with another T-copter to try to get some value back.
Do you think, like for example here I'm thinking of trying to I don't know if this medium tank can one-shot this tank, but if it does, do you think it's justified to try to go for the luck roll on the copter, or just save up the infantry?
I think that like the B-copter attack was just pretty sound for me to go for, because like, yeah, like you said, it's just going to heal up to AHP from that damage. I wouldn't try to use infantry to finish it off, just because I have like my own infantry around, which can try to kill those infantry after they go for the luck roll.
It's not looking so bad for Savage after the end of his turn, but you know what they say. If you end up your turn and you are equal or slightly below, you are losing. And
yeah, at this point, like value-wise, we're practically even. I have a slight unit count lead. It just got a little bit more in my favor after going for that attack. And yeah, going for bombers is a really good play here because of how many medium tanks he's building.
And this capture of the comp tower is very, very, very scary, because Savage has no power to try to push you away. You have the power, the superpower, very soon, and if he tries to interrupt, he is probably giving you the charge. So you are gonna probably win the comp tower the very next turn. This is gonna be very scary.
Yeah, I'm going for a wall here around the comp tower, and like I'm thinking that like that failing that roll on the medium tank was really scary and potentially a throw. But I'm like, okay, I got this now.
Okay,
it's all gonna work out.
I have one question. Why don't you put the tank here, and you go to protect the copter, thinking that maybe an anti-air around here, or what were you thinking here?
I didn't want my tank to get one hit KO'd by a heavy tank. I'm just keeping all my tanks out of range of that Neo tank as much as I can. Either out of not out of movement range, but out of vision range.
So
I'm just keeping them back.
you don't
I want to keep them
mind
alive.
if the com tower gets interrupted.
Yeah, because I figure that my clapback is going to be pretty hard because my bomber is in position now.
Okay.
And I feel like
Yeah. It's
my infantry is going to be able to heal off.
yeah.
Yeah. Even with that one angle exposed. But let's see. Let's see.
Yeah, because it's like whenever you do a feint, like this space is death. You go into here with these medium tanks. I mean, if you manage because of the vision lag, it's death. So I think you are completely right.
Mm-hmm. And you'll see in the north he still has a lot of stuff up there. And I figure that like whatever he has up there, he's shifted down now. But no, he's standing like a statue in the north. And here he starts going for a counter to save his tower.
Ooh, that's a good
Yep.
one. That's a roll, right? Because of the forest?
I don't know. I know that medium tanks can one-hit KO AA on planes, so yeah. But no, he ends up breaking through my wall without even going through the exposed angle, which is fair because he has no vision of it. But yeah, it's down to 2 HP. He saves his tower.
I don't know if
And
I agree
unfortunately, he
with...
didn't commit anything. He was able to interrupt the tower without even attacking from the tile on the left, so my bomber can't do anything. So at this point, I think I decide to cut my losses, and I also decide like, hey, he has to have nothing in the north, right? That has to be his entire army in the south. So I start going for attacks up there, and then discover, no, he's got a tank, a recon, and I don't see it yet, but an artillery too. I also start moving my stuff to back up that push. So I just give up on taking that tower. Decide to cut my losses and open up a new front.
Yeah, that's a very hard thing to do, at least for me, because you are very easily falling into the gambler fallacy of I have already invested this much, I have to keep on going.
Yeah, arguably I should have cut my losses sooner, and so I think I had a little bit of gambler fallacy going for myself. But yeah, at this point he shows all his vehicles he still has in the north, which surprises me. It does surprise me, but I already have some heavy vehicles of my own in position to follow up. And it doesn't seem like he figures that something is going wrong. And that like I'm not in the south anymore. So he leaves some heavy tanks to guard his tower, but starts sending a few up. But unfortunately, it's not enough.
I mean, you need that recon to be heavily chip damage in order to be it possible.
Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, it's an Andy tank on a property, and he has no reliable way to kill it without power.
I think it's quite ballsy the movement you are doing, but I think at the same time you have the maneuverability advantage because of the composition. You know, there is quite a lot of medium tanks, so you will be faster.
Yeah, those medium tanks for Andy are really good until your opponent stops fighting into them very much. That's when like the low mobility kicks back in. And all the other stuff that you have, which serve as band-aids for their weaknesses, they're less relevant without your power up.
Yeah. And the fight.
So also, like, I'm a little bit concerned about throwing my anti-air forward like that, so I build a fighter. And also, I'm expecting fighters from him as soon as he sees my bombers. I still haven't shown my bombers, but when I show them, I expect him to build fighters. Because you need to one-hit KO those bombers. Anti-air against Andy bombers doesn't cut it.
Andy Fighter is one of his best units because they are so damn hard to kill. Like What one shot a fighter? A goddamn carrier and a missile. And
Yeah, not very likely. Not very likely.
So your fighter is not gonna die unless they have an anti-air fighter on range. It's like it's the perfect blocker. Is the perfect power charge boost. It kills what it kills one shots. So it's the perfect unit in a Andy mirror. I think it's the perfect build you could do. Okay, look at that. Medium tanks dealing with neo tanks. Here comes.
Yeah, he actually uses a Neo to finish it off, which I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if like 2 medium tanks can 2-hit KO a Neo on a road. Since the first one reduced it to like 5, they should be able to do that, right? I'm not sure now.
Maybe it's a roll. Maybe the first one roll high. I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's 45 base damage, so it's 49 with the 10%. So it's basically very likely to happen.
Mm-hmm. But now the situation has reversed for him. He surprised me earlier. Now I'm the one doing the surprising.
Hello. Oh my god. Hyper great.
Yeah, just for better odds of killing that tank on a city and also to freshen up some of my damage stuff.
Yeah, because
This time I use hyper upgrade offensively, and I do it right.
You use it how you were supposed to do the first time. Yes,
this time it's actually worth. I just want to make sure that that tank on the city dies, because even with power active for the second one, a small tank can't kill it reliably.
And at the end of the day, this bomber could not hit anything else, right?
I think so. We'd have to go back to check.
I mean, yeah, completely. I mean, you could argue that this tank could do something else, but this bomber, even with hyper grade, cannot one-shot a tank on a city, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was necessary.
And I'm also walling my bomber in to protect it from AA, so he can't even damage it. Yeah.
Nice.
That's the power of the fire boost component of Andy Super CO power.
And the only reason you took this engagement is because you knew it was possible for you to drop this below 5?
That, and also to kind of like help wall, because like I want to, protect my small tanks with air units if he doesn't have like something nearby which can shoot them down in one turn, like if they're not covered with AA, pretty much.
Like, yeah, the walling is how you call it, for sure, but if it's only for walling purposes, you rather not attack it, because
that's a mistake. I shouldn't have attacked it, because now that it's taken some damage and retaliation, it's actually less effective of a wall as I would like it to be.
But I do think I agree with it, because you drop it below 5, so now that's a 9 HP medium tank in power instead of a 10 HP.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's not terrible, but probably more optimal to not attack.
It has become a Neo Tank City game. Oh my god. Like, how many Neo Tanks has been in this match? Like 7? 8?
Yeah. I mean, because of how weak the airport is, you really want to be spamming heavy tanks on this map. Weak airport and high income.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I think that was a roll. I'm not sure though.
That was thanks to the copter attacking the medium tank. Like,
yeah, you're right. It did pay off.
Oh my god.
And like that 2 HP bomber, like it's not ideal because I already used my power and all that charge is going to waste. But at this point, we have so many heavy tanks on the field that I'm going to get my power again real soon. So I just pulled my bomber back after that.
I was saying, oh my god, because you cannot even one-shot a bomber with an anti-air with hyper grade as Andy. Like, yes, it has 10% defense, but even then, without the 10%, it's a roll with 30, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'd have to calculate that one out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, yeah, can a max anti-air one-shot a full HP bomber? I'm not sure. Just on day today? I'm not sure.
I think it's a roll, like the unlikely one, but I'm gonna put the calculation around here. I will remember. I will remember.
Yeah, so many calcs to do here, but it's really important in Andy Mir.
HQ cap.
And like my infantry just snuck up on his HQ, and now it's going for the cap.
I think this is the best moment for you to try because you had the momentum advantage. You have surprised your opponent here. You will be the strongest here ever unless you retreat, go back somewhere else and then come back again. So here this is the peak of your strength because your opponent will keep reinforcing here and this is very deep into his territory. So if you want to capture the HQ, I think it's now or never. And let's see how it goes because maybe you succeed. And I'm gonna eat my own words of the we are not gonna see an HQ cap win.
I don't know if we re-recorded the beginning, so I'm not sure if that made that in. But Cynical was like, "Yeah, there's no chance of an HQ cap happening this game."
Right?
Just for the record, he said that.
I didn't say this on the second time. Maybe I didn't. Okay.
I don't think you did. I remember that distinctly because I was like, I'm not going to say anything here. I'm not going to tell him he's wrong.
Oh.
I'm going to wait for him to see this.
Like, I mean, oh my god. I mean, you can stop this as Savage, but it looks very grim to try to stop this because you will have to.
Yeah, you just have to commit a ton of resources to kill an infantry on 4-star terrain. Well, there's a ton of light vehicles and heavy vehicles running around.
Yeah, this looks like a very resigned point. Let's see what Savage does.
And you'll see that like I'm already 2 stars deep into getting my super CO power just. Because like I used it first, it comes up again quicker, and also it's just like since there's so much high value units on the board, I'm getting so much charge.
Please tell me that he doesn't like he lost.
Yeah, he just lost the game actually because at this point he can't attack at my infantry on his HQ with anything, and I have enough value for my COP, and it's on AHP. So yeah, game's already over, but I decided to be a little bit extra and kill as much of his stuff as I can, and then win by HQ cap.
Like even if you cannot get the superpower, you won because of the 2 HP damage. You can.
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
so this is just me flexing at this point. Yeah, which I guess is kind of BM. But
you hate the 1600 players. Like, come on, they are flexing all day. Oof. Oh my god.
Yes. Guilty as charged.
I do remember I won once with an HQ cap as Andy with the CO power against Marty on the Caustic finale. He was Drake. And,
oh wow, on Caustic. That's impressive.
It was tier 3, but with Lash and Kindle banned. And it was
also
live.
Yeah, because they're tier 2 normally on that map.
Yeah. Like, we were like, we are banning Kindle, but we are also banning Lash because we don't want to have a mirror on Lash. And then we both chose a different CO, so it was fine. And even though an Andy mirror is fine. Oh, triple APC, oh my god. Look at this. Dude. shaming on the lower rated players.
I'm toxic. I need to get banned.
Okay, let's take a look at the stats. I mean, they are gonna be boosted because of you flexing, so I'm gonna be fair for Savage. I'm gonna show them before the flex.
And the stats thing is weird also because like there's so much value damage which isn't being accounted for because of how much healing is being done.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it would be cool if like it actually showed the true amount of value damage done, not just like the total sum of like units that were destroyed, which I think is what's being shown here.
Also the HP damage, not only like the HP damage could be also interesting. Maybe less useful, but yeah, it was a very interesting matchup. I think it was.
I think that Savage got a lot of good value out of those defensive medium tanks. I think that he started having compositional issues after like the 4th or 5th medium tank went with only just a couple Neos, and also investing a lot of extra funds into copters, which frankly, like I don't think that copters are really good when you're slightly disadvantaged, unless like you're way on the defensive. You need to have ground control to get full value out of copters, because otherwise your opponent is just going to bully your anti-air out, and they're just going to destroy your anti-air after they shoot down a single B-copter, which translates into a net gain for them, actually. Like losing an AA and destroying a B-copter, you're down 1k value, but you're also up 1 unit count because you're using your bases the entire time. And the B-copter came from a 4th base, basically, your airport.
Also, you have to consider it's 2k more expensive. So you will have 2k less to use next turn, or maybe you cannot even afford to. You maybe have to base skip for the. I mean, if you base skip for a copter, is fine. But what I'm trying to say is that it's more expensive. It's not there for granted, the copter.
Definitely.
But anyways, I have nothing else to add. I don't want to drag any further. If you want to say something else, feel free. And if not, we will see you on the finals of the Smacky Cup, right?
Yeah, that's right. I'm going into the finals bracket. And at this point, most of the people who are going to be in the finals are known. We're just waiting on a couple more brackets to finish up. And yeah, that's going to be pretty exciting. It's going to be cool to play with Go7 and who else is going into that? Humida, probably Nightmare. I favor Nightmare pretty heavily in his game. But yeah, it's exciting stuff.
Nice. I'm not gonna cover your 4 match for 2 reasons, because obvious spoiler here, and also because I don't want to cover all your matches only. But I'm definitely because you faced it in Cougar, right, on the semifinals.
Yeah, and he burnt out on that. Yeah. So like he resigned before like barely any units died. So
I just remember.
Yeah, unfortunately I couldn't play that out. I would have liked to have tried my best against him, even though I think he's a stronger player than I am, and he could have easily beaten me. But
I will cover your final though. Who are you playing against? Maybe Reimer or Humita?
We don't know yet. Like, we're going to get reseeded. And
okay.
Yeah. So, and I don't know if it's going to be based on our rating at the start or current rating. Okay. And also, like, we still don't know who all the people in the finals are going to be. So,
I mean, at that point, if you manage to get into the finals, make it random. Like, I don't think it would be fair to make it into the seed, because at the end of the day, the seed was. I mean, the current seed, not the initial seed of the tournament, maybe more fair. but I don't know if just random.
Yeah, and it's almost going to be random just because we're all so close together in rating. Like the major outlier was Inkigark, who is like the only player to break 1700. But like me and Go7, we're both around 1600. Toulouse probably are really highly rated as well. Maybe slightly less so because he plays standard and ELO is less inflated there. The major outlier is going to be Humida, who pulled up this like big upset on Tour Dread. Yeah, like Humida is only like 1350, but yeah, other than that, like everybody's going to be pretty close together in grading.
Well, I'm excited for covering your finals. I have videos to take, 2 videos before that, so I have work to do. But anyways, thank you for watching, guys. Thank you for coming, Raizo, and bye bye.